Okay, what are some other challenges? I mean, sometimes being a father makes you question your spirituality. Sometimes your spirituality makes you question being a father, or how to be a father, or raises questions you never thought about ever before. What are some of the challenges?
I think one of the challenges in terms of spirituality was also the fact that we are, at least in my mind, has always been that I'm a child of God. And with that comes a certain self-esteem, self-worth that I am worthy, that I am worth a certain amount even on a bad day as a person. As a father, and before I say anything else, I am completely 100% proud of both of my sons, one sitting downstairs and one upstairs, which I didn't know he was upstairs, but that's okay. So, very proud of both of them. But, and like Henry said, with choices, are you going to support that choice even though we would not have made that choice ourselves in a similar situation? Or are you going to go, son, it just won't work out that way, maybe you think twice? And then also, what's that reflection upon you? And as a young father, I go, boy, that was a smart aleck comment from my son to another adult. Now, I know I didn't like it, but it's going to just roll with the water, and I'm going to let it go, take a couple deep breaths, and smile. But you have to have that faith that our self-worth as a child of God is not dependent upon the child, but they're going through that same process. So the faith is very important. If anything else, I've prayed more in the past 6 years than I ever have in my whole life.
As far as questioning, and I might be the only one, but I have one question to the congregation, and I need help. Has anyone ever received or heard a question from a child and did not know the answer? Anyone? Okay. True story. My daughter came home from school and said that in class they added up the years and the Bible is not true. And I wasn't prepared. So I sat there with a deer looking in the headlights. I didn't expect that question. I did not expect it at all. And I kind of just told her, oh, no, it's wrong. But I had to kind of research the answer myself because I know she was looking for an answer. And being a father, we're all knowing, as everyone knows. Everyone knows we have all the answers. But what I've done, and kids these days have the computers, the internet, their friends and everything. And I actually had an answer from my daughter quite a long time later. Is that I believe, so it will help her understand, I said, Moses wrote the book of Genesis. God spoke to Moses. And he had to make the book in a way in which the people that he was leading can understand the Bible. He was dealing with Moses, and Moses had a tremendous weight on his shoulders with guiding a people that saw all of the miracles that God performed, such as parting of the sea and the plagues. And even back then, there were still people that doubted him. He had to make a way that they would understand. And so what I told my daughter is that the people of that time probably could not understand that, who knows, maybe it's been millions and millions of years that Adam and Eve were there and when there was no time. But that is creation. We, in our limited mental capacity, at that time probably could not even understand what 1,000,000 years meant. The people back then couldn't understand a lot of things. It wasn't until the 14th century when we found out that the world was actually not flat. So there's a lot of things back then that we could not understand. But I told her that there is one God, and he did create all of us in his own image. Science gives you facts, but there are some things that science cannot explain. It's called faith. And the faith will take you for the rest of your life.
You know, I've been blessed with two wonderful boys. My wife and I both have been blessed with two wonderful boys. And, you know, I always told my wife that I come from a family that, you know, is fairly wild. And I always told her, I said, when we are kids, we are great. Jenkinses make great kids, but when they hit 14, 15, and 16, you're going to lose us, right? And my two boys, she circumvented that by, they're just wonderful. Richard now is almost 23, and he still, when he gets to his destination, he calls Mom and says, I'm here, and then when he's leaving, he tells her that he's leaving. But my spirituality, you know, since they're so wonderful, the challenges to my spirituality is I think it's more that we challenge their spirituality by the things that we do. And, you know, I had enough spirituality, or I have enough spirituality to have returned to university at an older age to change careers. I was 20 years in the travel industry and decided to go back to school to become a teacher. And my wife, Marion, and I, we do not believe in debt. And so we had a great financial challenge of me going back to school full time. And we had to say no to our children a lot. And we have to, you know, we had to give up a lot to achieve the goal of becoming a teacher. And there were some times that we had no money when I returned to school. There were 2 years that we both made less than $5,000 for the year. And there were 2 years like that, and we couldn't afford computers, and we had no cell phones, no second car, no cable. We couldn't go to restaurants. We couldn't go out to eat very often. And, you know, that's showing faith in God. My kids never complained while seeing other kids that had all of these things. And I think it made our family stronger spiritually. There's no bigger responsibility than being a father. And yet a relationship with a child can bear the greatest rewards. The way that they were raised, the way that children are raised from the cradle, I believe, will affect the people that they'll become. So